Alrighty, welcome. It's Friday, August the 15th, and we are doing our weekly Habits of Health call with Team Shine. Whoop, whoop.
Woohoo!
And sorry about my incorrect email. Thank you, Joy, for correcting me. That today we're doing week 4, not week 3. We're reading chapters 6 and 7, going through how to reach a healthy weight, and then going through the workbook on how to reach a healthy weight, understanding the core principles of weight loss, talking about journaling, handling cravings, and creating the weight loss structural tension chart. So a couple of you have talked to me about how to write a structural tension chart, what that looks like, how do we write steps to get to where we're looking for. So talking again about that structural tension, where here is where I am, this is where I want to be, and keeping the tension there, holding that out in front always propels us towards where we want to be. And I'm not sure if I shared this story before, but one of my clients over the last, I've been training her about 4 years now, said at her 10-year anniversary of losing her weight, she said, "I'm so frustrated." And I said, What do you mean? You just told me it's your 10th anniversary of your weight loss. And she said, "Well, I'm so frustrated because I still think about it every day." I said, "Well, that's why your weight's still off, honey." So that is just a really great picture of when we are intentional and keep in the forefront of where we want to be. That's how we keep our results, whether we're trying to lose weight or we're trying to go after what we want. It is really that process of keeping it out in front of us that helps us get to our goals. So with that being said, as an introduction, anybody want to comment or share about that understanding core principles of weight loss? We've heard the whole work really hard, work really hard in the gym, eat a little bit of food, and then watch what happens. Anybody have any personal experience with that in the past, or want to share anything about that? Don't all speak at once.
I'll say
Okay.
that it's a matter of being intentional. You can want it all day long, you can think about it all day long, but until you actually prepare and execute the game plan, if you will, then that's the only way it's going to happen for anything, really. So talking with it about the structural tension, when you make the game plan from the structural tension chart and you know what you're going to eat and what your schedule is going to look like, it should be just as important as flossing your teeth every day or putting in your deodorant. So it becomes a habit. So it could be an inconvenience in the beginning, but creating the habit and the muscle memory and the brain memory
Right.
is what to make it so that it's not something that you have to think about all the time. So,
right.
Invaluable structural tension.
Very good. Sandra, do you have anything to say about having a plan and sticking to it?
You calling me out, are you? What can I say about it?
I don't know. Does it have any results?
It does. You do get results. Just a little background on my struggle had been, I worked out 2.5 hours a day, but barely ate 1,000 calories. And it wasn't until Nicole and I started this journey together on the weight training and stuff that I realized that I was in starvation mode and couldn't drop the additional 20 pounds that I wanted to get off. So having a plan is very important, but also having the information, the correct information, and not just what your brain is interpreting is important.
That's right. We're always our worst enemy when it comes to that. I know that one of the typical thoughts around the whole eating thing is, okay, if I worked out that much, eating a flurry at Dairy Queen's okay for me today because I worked out extra. No, it's all right. So I was just sharing with a new client that, I have the same stuff. I'm not exempt from having any of those thoughts myself. And so I get stuck in that pattern of, oh, it's okay for me to have this today, or, oh, it's okay. So really sticking to keeping my tension. So going back to that structural tension chart, keeping out in front of me what it is I really want helps me to go after it. Now, if I lose sight of that, I'm going to be stuck back more in my current reality and not keeping momentum going towards something versus being stuck. So that's one of the things that the structural tension chart really helps with. In the workbook, on page, where was I? I like on page 62 through like 65, it gives a lot of boxes around understanding what's high carb, what's moderate, healthy fats. So I saw on Facebook yesterday, one of my friends on Facebook that's in another health and wellness business said, hello, people, peanut butter is not a protein. It is a fat. So being really clear as a health coach about what goes into all of these boxes is important. We are not 5-in-1 coaches, so we can know the ins and outs of how to help people lose weight on 5-in-1, but the reality is they're going to spend most of their time in what phase?
Maintenance.
That's right. They're going to spend most of their time in maintenance. So who has to really know maintenance?
We do.
Us. Okay. So, for example, one of the things that talks about another principle of weight loss is high glycemic versus low glycemic. Does everybody understand the principles of low and high glycemic? Okay. Where our clients are going to want to know that, like things that are, so what would be a high glycemic fruit?
Bananas.
Good. What about a low glycemic vegetable?
Celery.
Lettuce.
Yeah. So the darker the lower glycemic. So think of kale, spinach, romaine. Those kinds of things are going to be the darker the leaf, the lower the carbohydrate, the lower the glycemic index. Okay. It's the way that the body processes and converts into sugars. Patricia, do you want to share anything about glycemic index around your experience with diabetes and what that does to the body?
Yeah, with higher glycemic counts on the chart, then it spikes blood sugars, which then spikes the amount of insulin, which then increases the amount of inflammation that's in the body.
That's right.
So it takes a much larger amount of insulin to combat that glycemic index, and then consequently, if the body does not regulate itself properly, then it will create a consequent dip or low in blood sugar, then thus creating the vicious cycle of high and low cravings and
right, which increases the cravings. That's right.
Yep.
So what would be Joy, what would be a good way to beat cravings then? Oh, you don't have audio?
She can't talk.
Oh, okay. I didn't know she couldn't talk. Okay, Sandy.
Eating every 3 hours.
Yeah. So that helps to regulate that blood sugar by eating more often. Okay.
Carbs and protein, equal carbs and protein.
That's right. Regulating through eating carbs and proteins together. Yeah. One of the things that really happens a lot, whether to us or even our clients, is that we experience cravings due to stress. And so what are some good techniques or strategies to have implemented so that as we keep that structural tension out in place and stress happens, what are some things that you guys personally utilize as a strategy to beat those?
The breathing activity.
Okay, yep. Breathing, stop, challenge, choose is a great
Yep.
strategy too.
I worked out.
Time to work out, that's right. Now there we go. I gotta match you guys. I feel very out of place.
take a walk.
Take a walk, yep. Get out of the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Ask ourselves, what am I feeding? What am I really feeding?
That's right. One of the best times, I love the process of 5 and 1, because when people feel hungry, and and they're being honest, hey, I'm in fat, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm drinking my water, I'm doing 5 and 1, and they're hungry. They're hungry for something else. And it's a really good time to assess emotionally what might be going on for somebody. And so I love that, because it's like the layers of an onion. It kind of gets peeled back so that we can really figure out what's going on, and where we're not social workers, we're not counselors, but it's just a matter of asking questions like that. What is it that you're feeding? Now, we're not the best doing that ourselves. Like, I wonder what kind of emotion this is. I wonder, how am I struggling right now? It's really better that you call somebody else to do that. And that is why we're health coaches. So, okay. So understanding the weight loss structural tension chart, I've been coaching 3 years. I've had a lot of pushback from people creating a weight loss structural tension chart. Why do you think, whether you personally, if you have a personal experience with this, or for clients, why do you think people have resistance to creating a weight loss or healthy body structural tension chart?
Because they're afraid
To fail.
Right.
If they write it down and they make it known, and they don't accomplish it, then it's just like everything else that they've ever tried for hundreds of years, and it's frustrating. So
Yep.
I have to go, though. I'm really sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Are you heading for your thing?
Yeah, but the structural, I just wanted to say the structural tension chart is, don't not do it, because it will change you for so many different ways. So do it. If you haven't done it, do it, and do another one. So I love you all. Have a great day.
Bye. Thanks, Patricia. And that's what we were going to go into in talking about the structural tension chart, was what, when we look at that, and Sandy had asked to go through structural tension today, about how to go through the steps. And so we're just going to take a few minutes and talk about that. When you look at the structural tension chart, and at the bottom it talks about your current reality. So if we're doing it, we're going to do this one for a healthy body. So when we talk about, okay, currently I am, so I'll give an example for me. So currently I am 9 weeks out from my second bodybuilding competition. I work out 6 days a week, and I follow my eating plan about 90% of the time. I only sleep about 6 hours a night, and don't stretch enough. So that's my current reality. So I would jump up to where I want to be. So I would say my ultimate goal would be to walk on stage confidently in the next 9 weeks, would be to know that I did everything I could to get to as far as I could in the process, to sleep consistently 7 hours a night, to spend at least 20 minutes a day stretching, and be injury free, and follow my eating plan 100% of the time, or maybe 95, increase a little bit, and so that I have control and consistency. So where I am, where I want to be, now the steps in between, I think there's 12 spots. The steps in between come from, what do I need to do to be able to accomplish those things? So for example, for me, what that would look like is, I would want to be able to foam roll. So a good line item for that would be, get to my training session in the morning 10 minutes early to foam roll before my session. So that'd be an action item that would get me consistently doing that. Another thing would be, what would be an action item around getting more sleep? So prep everything I need to right after dinner, so that when my kids go to bed, I can go to bed and not, or don't turn on the TV when I get to my room and relax. So those items in between are, what are you going to do as an action item in order to accomplish what you want? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So Sandy, do you want to give me an example of, so what would be if currently you are, so what would you say, you're kind of assessing like in the areas of healthy body, what things do you want to make a change in? So Joy is really, working on toning and seeing her muscles, and she has consistency in her workouts. But in order to stay ahead of the game, she's got to keep out in front of her what she's going after. Because if we're saying, I just want to be healthy, you'll see your clients will say that all the time. I just really want to be healthy. Well, what does that mean? What does that mean to you right now? It's going to be different what that means to you in 3 months and in 6 months. Doesn't mean you have to do a race. It doesn't mean you have to put on high heels and a piece of fabric. It just means that you have to know what it is you're going after so that it perpetuates a lifestyle of wellness. Okay?
Yeah. So I'm going after getting rid of this flab because there's a lot of flab. I need to tone up
Okay.
areas. So I need to tone up areas and lose my last 13, 12 pounds. So
Okay. So question for you, how do you tone up flab?
by working out.
Okay, so I have those muscle and fat anatomical models, and one of the things I always love to say is this fat is the fat and the muscle is the muscle, and you can't change the one into the other. So we have to take away the fat and then put on the muscle, right? So wherever there is flab doesn't mean that you can't put muscle in all the flab to make it tighter. So it's still the process. So the 12 pounds you have to lose, it will happen from some of the areas that if you feel flabby. Does that make sense? So toning is more about getting the body leaner and the muscle stronger. So those are two different things. We lose fat and increase muscle. So one of the ways to increase muscular density is by how you're strength training, how you're eating, what kind of protein you're getting, how your body's processing the proteins. So you're kind of taking a look at all those things. So those will give you some ideas of what to write in the middle. So I give you that information for, okay, so maybe currently, if you write, okay, currently I'm exercising 3 days a week, and maybe you want to see quicker results, or maybe you're not feeling like you're getting stronger and you need to go up in weight or something like that. So one action item would be to increase the amount of workouts to 5, or increase them to 4 for 3 weeks and then increase them to 5. Then, kind of giving yourself some, that's where it says like the date to be completed by.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So for healthy body though, any weight loss, or it doesn't even have to be weight loss, but that's why I call it the healthy body. You're looking for things that are affecting your flexibility, your muscle, your body fat percentage, and how you sleep. Because all of those things greatly affect the results that you see, your external. So the things that are going on internally is what you're going to see. Water would be a big thing. So say currently I'm drinking, 8 glasses of water. I want to increase that to a gallon.
So even if I'm drinking 100 ounces a day, I should still increase my water?
No, I was just giving an example if water was an issue. Sounds like water is not. So for example, are you measuring your 100 ounces of water? Or are you guessing?
No, I'm measuring.
Okay. So that's a good example. Some people say, oh, I drink a lot of water. Okay, how many? Well, I drink 5 water bottles. Okay, so 5 times 16. Right, so it's still measuring. Okay, that's 80. So if you weigh more than so you want to be measuring so that you know, and even you don't have to maybe measure every day. If you're like, oh yeah, I measured for 3 days and that's how much I'm getting. Great. So half your body weight in ounces in water. I did hear, what was I listening to yesterday that said they want you drinking a half an ounce per body weight or per pound of body weight. And I was like, that is not true. That's a little less. Maybe that's an at least.
But if it's
So
half an ounce, that would equal out to the same half your body weight.
half an ounce per, oh,
Pound
I guess that's
is the
true.
same. Yep.
Because
Same
they
thing.
were saying, yeah, I guess that's true, because they were saying half an ounce per, I added it up and it seemed that it was different. Anyway, I might be misremembering what they said, but it's supposed to be an ounce. Like I tend to drink, what I was thinking is I drink an ounces per body weight. So I drink all of my body weight in ounces instead of half my body weight in ounces. So it really just depends on what you're trying to achieve, especially if you're in fat burning. You want to drink the more water, the better. You can't really drown yourself. So the more water, the better.
Okay.
So any other questions about the structural tension chart? Nope. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and close the call so you guys can get on with the rest of your day. I appreciate you being on the line. Next week, we're going to go over number 5, which I'm pulling this out. Oh, I don't have week 5 with me. I don't know where my paper is. Well, we're going to go over week 5, and I have to find where, maybe I left it in my journal. Yeah. Okay, week 5 in the study guide, and I would love to see some structural tension charts that it increases accountability for you to have me see what you're trying to do. If you want to send it to me over email, I sent you an editable structural tension chart that you can fill out in email, or you can fill it out and take a picture of it and send it to. Okie doke.
Good idea. Thank you.
All righty. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And I hope you have a happy Friday. Enjoy your rest of your day, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.